Hello, this is Marcia Schneider with the League of Women Voters of Portland, and you are listening to the Video Voters Guide or listening to our podcast. We are here today to talk with candidates running in the November 5th, 2024 general election. We are grateful for the support of the Carol and Velma Sailing Foundation, the League of Women Voters of Portland Education Fund, the Weiss Foundation, and our media partner, Metro East Community Media. With me is Andra Vltavin, running for Portland City Council District 4, which covers Portland west of the Willamette River and a portion of southeast Portland. Welcome, Andra Vltavin. Please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you are running for this office.
Yeah, so my name is Andra Vltavin. I'm a queer non-binary candidate. I moved to Portland 10 years ago because I felt like Portland was a more environmentally friendly city than most. But I've honestly seen the ways that the current city council has allowed climate issues to go onto the back burner. I come from a background of climate activism. I've been mobilizing communities around the critical energy infrastructure hub because I don't want Portland to be known for the biggest US oil spill in history. And I've also been a volunteer with the Portland Mutual Aid Network and the neighborhood emergency teams. And I spent 6 months in the Columbia River Correctional Facility as a volunteer to help inmates learn gardening skills. So got to see our justice system from the inside. And as a candidate, I'm also advocating for Portland Street Response, the Renters Bill of Rights, an expanded Portland Bureau of Emergency Management, and zoning reform.
What are your ideas for working productively with the other council members from your district?
Yeah, so I've really enjoyed the last year of my campaigning in that I've gotten to collaborate a lot with candidates across all of the districts and got to learn about the unique communities that they represent. And so really trying to foster those relationships ahead of time and understand where they're coming from so that we can all have a really solid foundation for the future when we're all serving together. And I really like to think of, we have over 100 people running, and that's really exciting because that means there's a lot of engaged and participatory people in the community, and we have a real shot to change the trajectory of Portland here in the future. So I'm looking forward to that.
What, if any, actions would you consider taking to address the current concerns related to the critical energy infrastructure hub on the Willamette River? Yes.
Yeah, so I'm really excited that Multnomah County is really seriously working on risk bonding, and that should go into effect around the end of the year, which would require these companies in the CEI hub to pay into a risk bond. And that would prevent taxpayers from having to spend our own money in the event of a disaster. And so I think that that's a really good first step. I'd really like to take it further. I know that some cities in Washington are looking at doing a climate adaptation estimate, which would be a yearly estimate to say how much it costs us to move critical infrastructure out of, say, the floodplains when the river is rising, or to adapt infrastructure to be more temperature resilient. And they put a number on that, and then they divide that number and assign a fee every year to the known polluters in the area, saying like, hey, these problems were caused partly because of the way you're doing business, so you need to help us adjust to a changing climate. And so I think that could be implemented at the critical energy infrastructure hub, and also looking at the air quality and land use permits with, honestly, the city, the county, metro, the state, and the federal government. It's going to be a big project.
You are listening to the Video Voters Guide interview and podcast of the 2024 general election with Andra Vltavin, who is running for Portland City Council District 4. Are you satisfied with the performance of the Joint Office of Homeless Services? And if not, what changes would you support? Please explain your answer.
Yeah, I'd really like to see the funding that that joint office has fully used. I know that they have a lot of unspent funds, and having worked directly with the unhoused population and doing mutual aid work and talking to these nonprofits that are filling in the gaps in government services, I've heard a lot of complaints about slow reimbursements, about just inefficient management. And I think we really need to look at the strategies that we're employing and make sure that we're doing the best we can to serve that population, and really letting the unhoused population determine what they need and not trying to have a one-size-fits-all solution.
Thank you. What skills, experience, and interests distinguish you from other candidates for this position?
I have a background in creative reuse strategies, and in my team, I was one of 2 people who helped save 10,000 pounds out of the landfill every month. So I have this systemic view of how not to waste things and how to use things creatively. I've also worked in class action lawsuit documentation, and as a co-op and a nonprofit founder, I have a lot of experience in the bureaucracy required to set up those business structures, as well as that leadership experience. And then my volunteer experience has taken me to all kinds of different communities, from the unhoused community to the incarcerated population. And I have a lot of disaster management skills that I've developed through my time with the neighborhood emergency teams that really give me a big lens and a lot of different perspectives to come at running for office with.
Which, if any, strategies described in the draft 2024 Portland Housing Production Strategy could or would you support?
I really appreciate the emphasis on climate-friendly homes and the dedication to equity, as well as affordable housing. I'd really like to see more languaging around sustainable building materials and converting existing structures to residential buildings or residential living communities, because we have a lot of vacant office buildings that we can convert to residential living areas that will help us promote community and have a denser housing experience in Portland.
Great. Great. Thank you. Thank you, Andra Vltavin. This concludes our video voters guide and podcast interview of the League of Women Voters of Portland with Andra Vltavin running for Portland City Council District 4. Election day is Tuesday, November 5th. Be sure you inform yourself about the candidates and exercise your right to vote. Thank you for your interest.